Yo, right here in the small box. And one of those individuals is Sean C. So we're going to go ahead and dive in with this video right here. This one's called the Doechii Hate. ... So let's go ahead and get started and lock in, shall we? Let's make it happen. Yo, you, right here in the small box, Welcome back to Flex Mob Reactions, only on the Flex Mob Network. I'm Flex. Welcome back to the channel. Y'all tapped in with your favorite Canadian reaction channel. We love that music. We love that hip hop. But listen, when it comes to the hip hop news and the hip hop drama, sometimes we got to step up and step out. We got to talk. We can't stay inside forever. One of these moments is that moment. And we're stepping into that right now. So we're going to continue the Doechii Appreciation Week. Okay, let's keep it real. We're probably on like, what, the third day right now? Probably going to go into the fourth day. But nah, we stand for Doechii. We stand for black women. Am I right, Anthony? That black woman poetry. Come on now. Look, let's get started with the video because y'all know I like the yap. I'm trying to control myself right now. It's not easy. But make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the video. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think about the reaction. Hit that notification bell so you get notified when I drop my videos or when I'm live, like right now. And let's keep going, bro. Let's check out this video real quick.
Doechii has a track with SZA that I've been spammed with the last few days. This is another reason why I think it's important for women to have a space in the world. Because if they don't, who's going to listen? Me. I'm going to listen. I always listen. Always listening. Oh shit, drums.
Tipping my kombucha on a rooftop, smoking.
Wait, I didn't even. Whoa.
Count my sheep, then I catch my zine stars. Why sell my soul when I know I'm God?
Go skip the reaction.
That's a great zoom out. Doechii's so odd to talk about musically because I'm just like, I always struggle trying to like find where she like belongs, and I know that sounds like a diss. Like, I think she's got enough presence and identity on the song like to carry it, you know, full way through. But niggas saying she's fire gang, and that's always been my thing with Doechii. Like, it's always been music that I've liked. But I'm like a I wouldn't say Doechii fan. I'm more of like I enjoyed Doechii more before this current era or art, probably 2023 and maybe a little before. It was some version of her that I really liked, and I forgot which record really popped off of her in 2023.
Yo, Quickie, you didn't need to bring in that word, bro.
But that's when I was like, yo, nah, she really got it, or I feel it in this one a lot. With the Alligator Bites Never Heal joint, obviously it's an amazing display of her abilities. I just felt like that album like leaned too heavily on like its influences, you know. And I'm not trying to say that that's a bad thing and that you can't reference anybody or you can't sound like anything or anybody else, but I just felt more of that than I felt like Doechii personally.
So he prefers Doechii from the beginning of her career, basically. It's valid.
And that doesn't mean that she's untalented. That doesn't mean that she's
all right, bet.
A bad artist or anything like that. I certainly wouldn't say she's an industry plant. And I think she's within her right to respond back and talk to all of those people that said that she was an industry plant or that she didn't deserve the spot that she's in right now, or that, you know, she didn't work hard. You know, that's the implication that comes with industry plant. That's the implication that comes with, you know, you suspecting that there's some type of artificial intervention with somebody's career. You know, that's what you're basically saying. You're not good enough to get here on your own. I get why, you know, somebody that works as hard as Doechii does has put as much effort into planning out her music videos, her rollouts, her performances. She's a very good performer. Create whatever imagery that she's trying to create in her music videos. I mean, I see all of that. I see the effort constantly. So I never take that away from her, even if she doesn't make music that I really like gravitate toward all the time. So I mean, whoever she's talking to or the amount of people that she's talking to, 100%, I agree with her. She should come back at them. She should say something to them. She should, you know, put them in their place, because not only do those people not represent people who genuinely want to hear good hip-hop music, they represent a side that just shouldn't be interacted with socially. They're a bunch of social rejects for the most part. They don't contribute to anything outside of trying to stir up discourse that there doesn't need to be any discourse about.
Hey, King Hammer, we miss you too, bro. Real talk.
I do think that if you're going to ask something like that from somebody like Doechii,
And Tiff, as a black woman, your point is very valid. I don't listen to her music. I'm just not with the disrespect. That's completely valid because it's not necessarily tied to the music. They're trying, like Adinross is trying his hardest to tie everything to the music, which is why he's continued to say industry plant, they're botting, this, that, etc. You're trying your hardest to make it about music, but the things that you're saying out of your dirty mouth is way beyond music. You're stepping into race. It's racism, sexism, colorism that we're stepping into. That's the realm that you're stepping into. When you call a woman a dirty ish, when you call a woman a piece of ish, that's the realm that you're stepping in. That's not music anymore. You're outside music when you talk crazy like that about black women.
I don't see why you wouldn't have also said the same thing about Ice Spice. I don't see why you wouldn't have asked the same question about Lotto. Like, these are two people that, you know, happen to be, and this just adds to her, you know, dark skin narrative. I mean, these are two people that also had a very quick rise to superstardom that nobody really seemed to question. I mean, Ice Spice got, you know, connections and songs and features with Taylor Swift and Beyonce and Nicki Minaj, like, very early on.
Look at the blessings that's a good point. Look at the blessings that Ice Spice has gotten. And look at how Doechii had to build herself up. You can't sit there and say this ain't about colorism when it comes to the music. You know what I'm saying? It's wicked work, but to navigate this thing, it's not a joke.
Like, without dropping any music that I felt was controversial enough to be good enough, outside of the fact that people looked at her as an attractive, light-skinned girl with a fat ass. I can't look at her and be like, yeah, no, she's crazy for saying that, when all these other things exist in the same vein. Like, you can't look at me and be like, oh yeah, they're calling her an industry plant for justifiable reasons, when I never heard some of these accusations levied at people that you would expect them to be levied at if you were keeping the same energy or keeping the same logic. Those two don't get any accolades. Doechii has a Grammy already, very different. I don't really think it's that different. Especially prior to the Grammy nomination, they were still saying that. Like, where did this Doechii girl come from? You can't call her crazy when you see those things or blatant hypocrisies, and then you see that there are people that aren't willing to entertain.
I got a point to make about the whole Grammy thing, because the one thing about the consumer that I've learned is that the consumer is waiting for the music to come to them. That's the one thing I've learned about the consumer, the average consumer that just consumes music. They're waiting for good music to be brought to their to their phones or whatever platform, right? At that point, they're relying on algorithms to give them ideas of who they should listen to. And then it's up to the consumer to give that individual a chance. For anybody that was tapped in with me on Discord yesterday, I went live on Discord and I showed off my process for finding music. The way I find music is that I would go on Spotify and I would either go to New Music Friday or the Release Radar playlist. And it would give me a bunch of artists that dropped music on that Friday to listen to. And all I got to do is start listening to those individuals to find music. A lot of people that listen to Doechii, especially in her early career, that's not like given. Like, you got to find that. A lot of people found Doechii's YouTube page and they fell in love instantly. You know, you might have it pop up on your homepage, but that's not for everybody. That's for a small, minute percentage of people that follow that kind of lifestyle for that to come up on their platforms. So already the average consumer, they're going to assume Doechii doesn't exist. She came out of nowhere because it wasn't brought to their front door. Not realizing that she's been dropping hits for years. Her biggest hit that she had, What It Is. Everybody was singing it, but nobody knew who it was until you saw her perform on stage. And wasn't that at the Grammys? That she performed that on stage? The same girl that won the Grammy for her mixtape was the same girl that just popped out and performed on the stage. Nobody realized it was her singing that song. A hit song everybody loved, especially on TikTok. What I'm saying is that the average consumer is lazy and they don't even want to bother to look for music. There's a lot of talent out there, but sometimes you got to find it. Doechii's one of those talents.
Those conversations. I don't think any of that's really called for in this context, but I also don't think that I have to
Sharon, I saw it.
so hard, because there are going to be people like that. They're going to try extra hard to make it.
Nintendo, that's going to happen. CDs are going to make a comeback. Physical copies are going to make a comeback again because streaming is struggling.
Seem like they're Doechii's biggest fan. And I don't think you have to be disingenuous to admit that she's got a point and also be like, you know what? I'm going to still, be on the side of I'm just not the greatest or the biggest fan. That's just what it is. I had a huge problem with Adinross saying what he said about Doechii when she had that whole little blow up at the Met Gala. I do feel like it was incredibly overblown, a reaction to it. And I felt like this is coming from a different place of like malice. When we're talking about somebody that just had a bratty moment at an award show, now she's like a piece of shit, a bitch, all these other things. Meanwhile, Adinross talks to anti-Semitic Kanye West, who references Adolf Hitler in his music videos and has a music review done on the phone with him. But he's like a genius. He's a great artist. He's all these amazing things. He doesn't say nothing to him about those things. And I guess this is kind of my issue, is people feel comfortable saying certain shit about some people and very uncomfortable saying.
Ron, that's one big way, or that's one big reason why a lot of people hate Doechii too. There's a lot of variables that goes into the Doechii hate. You got to keep that in mind too. There's a lot of lanes that brought in this Doechii hate. So it's not just one, it's multiple. It's like an LA highway damn near.
Certain shit about others. And this is kind of like the larger point of, oh, what type of space are you creating where these people that aren't even within the same culture feel so comfortable saying the craziest shit about somebody that they know they're not going to get any backlash for saying this thing about, versus them having to toe the line whenever they come in contact with someone who's accepted as one of the greats and somebody that you can't ever disrespect. So what culture or what ecosystem have you been creating or funding or helping platform to where these dudes are okay with saying some shit like that, not fearing any backlash or any public, negative reaction to the things that they're saying? And that's kind of my issue with it. Not necessarily that people can't speculate about where Doechii came from or speculate about whether or not she makes good music. It's just about how you talk about this person despite not being their biggest fan. And the way they talk is just, I don't know, somebody in there or in their crowd or in their vicinity has made them feel like it's just good saying whatever the fuck comes to mind. And I don't think that should be the reality. I don't think that should be the space that you help create or help support. You know what I'm saying? You hear shit like that, especially within the same culture or being of the same culture of the person that these words are being said about, it should make you uncomfortable. It make me uncomfortable. I feel like people will say a lot of female rappers are the same and that we need some diversity within the game. We get that, and people aren't receptive to it because they don't like the aesthetic, I guess you're trying to say. I will, like I said, and that's another part of this that I think needs to be entertained. I don't personally, and this is a separate conversation about Doechii, but I don't personally think that the music that she makes is unique enough for people to be like she's ushering in a new brand of hip hop. I personally have not heard that type of music from her. Despite me thinking that she's a good rapper and me thinking that she knows how to make good music, I don't think that it's unique enough for me to also be like, this is the ushering in of a new era. I don't think that. I don't.
Blame it on the Doechii, got you feeling low. Y'all wanna.
It's like, and I know that you.
Hey, this is a great example right here, because dudes like this can't comprehend the kind of ish Doechii talking about, bro. This is a really good example right here. I don't know who this individual is, but just the look on his face. You know what I'm saying? Hold on.
Doechii, got you feeling low. Y'all wanna.
It's like,
just look how he's just looking around. He trying to understand what's going. He's like, man, this ain't lit. This ain't hype. Man, how am I supposed to like this if this is just lame? Bro, this doesn't even sound like I can play this at a party. Bro, not all music is about partying, bro. But when you had the same thing go on for about 15 years where it evolves into different sounds, but at the end of the day, it's for the same idea. A lot of people weren't conditioned to think that way. That's that mental conditioning that comes with music.
Like, and I know that you're sending me this because you want me to see what it is that he's saying, but it's like, when did people ever look at this as like a metric for what is or isn't good music? I do.
The people running the industry. That's a good point. Because why is this individual considered a metric to helping us make better music? But looking industry-wise, hey, bro.
I think that the harder you work, the more opportunities you get, and Doechii has shown herself to be a very hard worker. I'll just give her that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think people value the idea of what you put in.
Hey, Saga, you want to know the reason to your question? Why do grown men want to be popular amongst 14-year-olds? Lames. Them 14-year-olds got the parents' credit card running up their bill. So a lot of people are trying to take advantage of the fact that they might be holding their parents' credit card at that moment. And if you have about 100 to 200 people holding their parents' credit card thinking about clicking, well, that's revenue.
Is ultimately what you're going to get out. You're going to get that out after a certain point. If you keep, you know what I'm saying, digging, you're going to eventually hit diamond.
Just look at this, man. Just look at this. Just look at that for a second. What an entitled, unintelligent piece of ish she is. She has zero talent. You think I want to sit down when I hear something like that? Especially against somebody that looks like me, that has the same skin color as me. You think I want to sit down and just let it go by me? Just let it float over my shoulder? No. Stand up.
You're going to eventually hit goal. You're going to hit something that you've been looking for if you just keep going. And I don't think people I don't think people understand the concept of what that means. What you plant, the seeds that you plant, you know what I'm saying? The fruits of your labor. I don't think they understand those concepts. And I think she's probably just getting back the things that she's put in for years now at this point. But I also want to ask when people like this or even this ever became like the gold star or the metric for which people judge what was or wasn't good music ever. You think a stable Ronaldo stream is going to be what I would have looked to 10 or 15 years ago, assuming that you would have put his face anywhere and associated with hip hop? This would have been the guy for me to go to and be like, yeah, this is going to be the new best music that's going to come out. I'm going to this dude or I'm going to adinross for their opinions about music. No, I'm not.
These types of streamers are obviously not the most credible sources of music critique, but they do have huge amounts of young impressionable viewers.
Yeah, but at the same time, if this dude would have come out and be like, yo, y'all got to stop disrespecting Doechii, I don't think there will be enough of them to be like, yeah, nah, he's right.
Don't kill me, Ron.
I think after a certain point, it's a circle jerk. And you're just feeding what some of these people come into your, stream wanting to hear. I don't think at this point, I think it's too large for somebody like this to control it, I think it's embedded within an American culture more than it is, streamers can come in and dictate what it is that their audience thinks. They're very much so going to niggas exactly like this to hear them say something negative about a black woman. They are. They're going into the music or to the records like this. When do they interact with black music that when it comes from a woman? When do they ever do that? When do they ever interact with black art that comes from a woman? Ever.
Never.
And have anything insightful to say about it or to pull away from it. They don't have anything insightful to say about men who make hip hop that are black either. But especially in this vein, what the fuck do you think you're gonna grab out of this?
I don't understand what's so hard for people to admit that they're an industry plant. It's a very easy concept. When you sign to a label, when you sign with an agency,
it's like, bro, you hear this and you're like, what am I doing?
No glaze.
This is what happens when you have individuals that just don't know, but have a platform. Say a bunch of garbage. What I've been saying this whole time, this media space is real. Let's make that clear. The media space is a very big struggle to navigate. This ain't easy to do. Please understand me. Live streaming is a part of the media space. This is not a joke. All right? Because once you start talking about your digital footprint, then we can have a real conversation. You know what I'm saying? you gotta be careful how you navigate this. Even the way that I'm talking is, I gotta be careful too. Because if I want to take this channel somewhere, I have to be mindful with how I speak. I can say and use whatever words I can put together in a sentence to make it sound sexy. But I just gotta be mindful of how I speak. Because you just never know who would want to pick you up, right? But this media thing is not a joke. Not everybody deserves a camera. I'm looking at this dude right here with what he just said.
It's so hard for people to admit that they're an industry plant. It's a very easy concept. When you
We already had the conversation about this. We've had this conversation multiple times. We had conversation that was alluding to this. We had conversations that was adjacent to this. We had conversations all around this. This kind of talk is stupid. This kind of talk is, it's you don't know anything. You're not knowledgeable. We've watched the videos. We've learned together about how this thing works, and we're continuing to learn. We're never going to stop learning because there's so much to this, and we've learned a lot. So when we hear individuals like this, all of us in this chat that's been around for a minute, we all know what he's saying is complete BS, right? But he doesn't know. He's a part of the consumer base that I'm talking about that doesn't have Doechii brought to his front door. So he will never know about her music. So of course he's going to assume she's an industry plant. But don't even bother to do your own research and look into this artist. But you want to immediately talk bad because you don't know her or you never heard her before. So you're going to assume the worst. Bro, we don't play that here. We don't play that around here. Not at the Flexion Mind Network. We don't do that.
sign to a label, when you sign with an agency,
It's like, bro, you hear this and you're like, what am I doing?
No glaze when I say this, but there was a time when people used to you, Tabby, Miami and etc. for music taste validation or opinion discovery. Now the new
Shout out
gen
Tabby.
go to Adinross, XQC and Ronaldo. Used to be organic, if that makes sense.
Now the new gen go to adinross, XQC, and Ronaldo. No. Because the issue is they've never, ever shown a love for music, ever. It's not like, okay, boom, here's people that we listened to or looked at for some type of musical thoughts or music commentary or musical reaction or reviews or something like that before. And then the next group of people came after that and started looking at these people. And I get what you're saying 100%. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I'm saying that these people have never, ever shown any interest in trying to find music that wasn't readily available to them and saying just like the most outlandish or dumbest thing that comes to their mind about it. Because they're more concerned with their viewership than they are concerned about the music that they're talking about. It's never been about the music with people like this. It's always been about, how do I entertain my audience? And it's difficult to prioritize the music.
Y'all hear what he just said about entertaining your audience? How do I entertain my audience? Especially knowing that the audience that they have, they're losing brain cells the more they watch and interact with these individuals. How do I entertain my audience? Then you look at what Adinross is saying. Then you look at how Academics was talking. How do I entertain my audience, huh? It's crazy.
That they're talking about. It's never been about the music with people like this. It's always been about, how do I entertain my audience? And it's difficult to prioritize the music while you're trying to entertain your audience, I guess, to an extent. But for people that genuinely just like to do that, they like to talk about music, they like to have musical discourse. It's not gonna be.
Please, yo, Saga, please decompress, bro. You know what I'm saying? Please decompress. Because I know this is a lot and I know this is heavy. Especially with the lives that we live. Knowing that we got to wake up and go to work. To get that little paycheck. Trust me, it's not a joke. Take care of yourself. Have a great night. And just relax. Lay back. Find some peace. And keep being outstanding, all right? Please take care of yourself. Real talk.
Be like a hard balancing act, but what do you expect? Like, what is it that you're gonna get from people like this? Like, there is no next generation. I do want you to understand that, though. There is not a next generation beyond what it is that y'all got in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018 with musical discourse. There is, like, as far as next generation is concerned, I don't see next generation that's like large and popping off within the streaming space, more specifically, that talks specifically about or likes to do deep dives on music. I don't see that. Like, the next generation of streamers that interact with and try to break down or listen to
Amen. Black is beautiful. You talk about it.
music or try to have conversations about it are literally dudes that have these niggas' numbers. I cannot trust your opinion about music if Drake is DMing you. I cannot trust your opinion about the new record that's coming out when you will not be genuine about how you feel about it. I cannot do those things.
You think you could just get this song cleared from the people who originally made this beat? No, you.
Do you even know who originally made the beat? The beat?
Had a fucking label do it, stole it, and got pushed on TikTok.
Jesus Christ. I don't even.
You have to have it cleared to have the song out. You see what I'm talking about? You have to have the sample cleared to have the song on your damn page. To be a part of your catalog, you need it cleared. Look at what happened with Tory Lanez. And I forgot the name of the song. It was like something Waterfall. Man, I forgot it, but I remember when the song came out with the album, and the song immediately got taken off because whatever sample that was on that song wasn't cleared. And they had that, whoever had that song, the original song, took it down. You need samples cleared to be a part of your catalog, to be part of that album.
Even, like, do you argue with that? You don't put serious time into trying to debate an argument like this. It's not real. It's not genuine. It's as artificial as he thinks Doechii's rise to superstardom is. It's manufactured to fall within a certain narrative because you refuse to engage with it critically. So it's easier for you to just say what everybody else is saying and be like, yeah, no, industry plan. Because I know I'm not going to get any pushback on that, which is my issue with people that have a supposed voice within the streaming community, people that have a voice anywhere, they use it to be safe. When it comes to something that genuinely matters or something that they could actually, you know what I'm saying, like receive some pushback against, they're so safe.
No, not TLC.
They say nothing in regards to trying to be critical of what the status quo is. They just go and toe the line. It's the same old every single time, bro. I don't think that these people are the ones to engage with anything critically. Like, they're losers for the most part. They don't contribute to anything societally speaking. It's just like what I
would like to remind y'all, this dude's a gamer. There's a reason why I'm watching this video. His mind is very impressive, for lack of a better term.
Hard for me to take any opinion or thoughts from these people seriously. Like, what is it that you, when do you even interact with society? What do you even know about people, like regular people? Honest, a bit of it is an issue with his black content creator friends. Maybe if somebody of influence or somebody within his life took the disrespect towards this person seriously, and say, you know what, I gotta cut you off, or I gotta be like, yeah, nah, this ain't cool, this ain't gonna fly, because you feel too comfortable saying this. It's not necessarily about Doechii, like I said before. It's who you talking to. You shouldn't feel this comfortable talking this way about certain people. And the issue with, you know, Glasses down here, the issue with them is just that they are coming at this from the perspective of someone who has no power or influence or position in Adinross's mind. So it don't mean anything for them to tell him, oh yeah, you can't say this and that, because at the end of the day, he can say, I'm not listening to you because I'm not going to lose anything. There's no consequence to not obeying what it is that you're telling me. There's nothing that you can say to me.
Black woman.
But the issue is the people that are black, that are within his life, that are co-signing it, that want to gain something from him so bad, that care more about the connection to Adinross than the connection with their own culture. And so people like this feel comfortable saying dumb shit like he just did for 2 minutes straight or however long at a time and having no consequence. Drake will come.
Nintendo, it started with the Meg Thee Stallion. The hate started from Meg Thee Stallion. Tory Lanez for sure. Amplified by academics. And remember who academics' friend is, Adinross. So just looking at the timeline of that, that's how you understand how this all started for real.
comfortably go on his stream and talk about XYZ, never bring this part up, never talk about how you need to get better, you need to act right when you talk about certain people. These things go unaddressed. Why even interact? What insight do you expect to gain from an Adinross ever? And if you didn't, expect to gain any insight from him, why would you ever interact earnestly and think that, oh yeah, this is about to be an insightful conversation where he can gain something from my perspective, where he's coming into it not wanting to listen to anybody, but he just wants to be right. He wants his feelings and his points and his narratives to be validated by the people that he feels safe with, which is why he connected himself so closely to Andrew Tate, which is why he connected himself so closely to the manosphere, because he said things that he thought people wanted to hear to help garner and maintain an audience. That's all his MO is. That's how most of these streamers get into any position of popularity. They just keep regurgitating shit that they think people want to hear, and then when it comes time for them to actually give how they genuinely feel about something, they muzzle themselves because they know their audience isn't going to like it. So he's just parroting what his audience wants to hear from him. That's why I said at this point, you've built, your foundation is being built off of a group of people that want to see you disrespect certain things in certain cultures. So even if you did have a premonition, if you did decide that you wanted to vocalize it, you're threatening chopping down your whole hierarchy. You're chopping down your whole foundation to even say something in opposition at this point. So you're just going to be what it is that you are, whether you feel that way genuinely or not, and keep saying the same shit. It's a rinse and repeat cycle. Academics is just knowingly doing it though. Like he'll have these moments where he'll peer out of the darkness for a second and say something that might appear sensible, and then realize that he's getting backlash from his community, and then he'll run right back into his little hole. Like, he does it a lot, and it's fucked up. Adinross doesn't want to be right. He wants to be contrarian. He don't want to be contrarian. Being contrarian would be going against his audience in situations like this. He don't want to be contrarian. He wants to, keep receiving the same accolades, same recognition for saying the shit that people have been saying about people like this for years. He just wants to be the next. He might want to be the next guy. Andrew Tate did the same shit. It wasn't like there was nothing unique about what the fuck some of these dudes were saying that he was so willing to follow. There was nothing unique about what they were saying. It wasn't nothing new, nothing forward thinking, nothing progressive at all. It was just the same old, repackaged into a much sterner exterior. Like, I'm gonna go hard with these things now. I'm gonna say things that sound a little bit ludicrous, but at the end of the day, the message is still the same message, bro. And that's another part of this, like I said, that I already mentioned from the get-go, from the beginning, was that Doechii is kind of like a victim to the whole Kendrick and Drake back and forth, where a bunch of people that were Drake defenders and Kendrick Lamar detractors basically just looked at anything that was coming out of TDE and looked at it with like a bot or an artificial intervention like point of view, because they were just hell-bent on the idea that no type of person in the world would genuinely entertain a record or a piece of art that came from Kendrick Lamar and interact with it earnestly. They were stuck on that for a long time. Whole time the next year, even with Drake releasing a collab record, Kendrick Lamar still outsold him with GNX, unfortunately. And now Drake is also at the crossfire and being accused of botting through the Stake website. We're gonna look at that in a little bit, but I mean, it's like, what are we doing?
Man, that was a hell of a video. I'll tell you that. This boy is smart. For him to be a gamer with intelligence, of course I'm gonna subscribe. You crazy? If I don't subscribe, I'm dumb. Holy. Y'all saw Ron put the original song in the chat, right? Y'all saw it. Okay. We're talking about samples, right? Okay. And then he followed up. Doechii had to clear it with them specifically because they're the original creators of it. Just like Metro had to get the clearance from like that for the Barry White estate. Rodney O used it, but it's now his. There you go. All right, and then Anthony had a good point too. You can talk about these things without hate, but you know how these people want it to go, bro. They want to promote the negativity. The negativity equals sales. That's been universal for a couple years. Well, not a couple years, multitude of years now. See, I'm not the only one who's saying it. There you go. But yeah, that's it. What it is, man. I just love the fact a lot of people speaking up, bro. This ain't a trend. This is real. All right, let's make that clear. This ain't no trend talk. We're not trying to be trendy right now. Let's get that out the way. This is real talk right here. Right? I know a lot of people can be confused when it comes to these things. But come on, we're in 2026. If you're still confused and you're not educating yourself, then who's in the wrong at this point? We've all been on this planet for a long time now. At some point, you're going to have to educate yourself for real. It's part of growing up. It's a part of growth. If you're stuck as the same person forever, that means you not learn nothing. And then you're going to let years go by without learning anything. You got to grow up and learn, bro. This learning issue is not a joke. You got to learn, for real. That's all it is. It's just getting a little ridiculous out here, man. Glasses Malone going easy on academics is troubling. Oh, he's live right now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Man, I like the sound of that, you know. Jesus. Just letting you know that Adin legit sniffed the chair Andrew Tate sat in. Absolutely degenerate. Oh, my Jesus. But that's how he wanted to market himself to his community. That brought in more views. That brought in more followers, subscribers, more revenue for his pocket. Because people, especially the younger generation, because the younger generation be the ones all over them platforms. They all over Twitch. They all over Kick. They like seeing that weird degenerate-ish. They love degeneracy. That's what they love. So they're going to align themselves. They're going to subscribe to that. And they're going to follow those kind of individuals. Which is why they have the community. They have the streaming numbers. And they have that clout that comes with turning on a camera. That's what it is. And then at that point, for the younger generation to move like that, who's parenting them? But that's a conversation for another day, I'll tell you that. Bro, this is all ridiculous. This is all ridiculous. It's just getting to a point where it's just a little weird. It's getting a little strange out here. Like, why is this kind of talk allowed, knowing that we're not gonna like it, but it doesn't matter because it's going viral? Look, Adinross is going viral for something he said, and all these people are interacting and talking as if we're playing into the whole algorithm with digital platforms and digital content. It's like what we're doing is playing into their own hands. When we stand up for Doechii, when we stand up for black women, it's like they want us to be angry so others can get monetized and get their payments. Y'all getting paid off of anger and hate. And then I got to sit here and wonder, how do you fix this? And then when you realize that you can't really fix it, then you understand we cook. Oh my God, this is ridiculous, bro. But what can you do?